All the connections are fine. Before we start, we're running a little bit late. It's all my fault because, again, with this winter weather, we've had to make some adjustments. Okay, we've got Facebook streaming. We're waiting for YouTube to hook up. We've got X streaming. So, look, you can't get enough of us out there. And it looks like, there we go. YouTube is on. And hey, folks, it's ChathamNC Sports Roundup with Asheebo Rojas of the Chatham News Record. I'm Gene Galin of the Chatham Journal. Here's our quick agenda. Winter weather has played havoc with the sports schedules. Asheebo's got an update as to all the stuff that's going on with that. It's affected things like high school wrestling. It's affected things like high school basketball. It's also affected swimming and a whole bunch of other stuff. Of course, we're going to get into basketball power ratings, one of the things folks always want to talk about. We'll talk about any other Chatham County high school sports going on. And then we get into what Asheebo's got in the paper. And that's coming out today, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's coming out. The roads in Chatham County are clear enough that you can go pick up your copy of the Chatham News and Record. Asheebo's going to give you a rundown of what he's got coming up. And then everybody's favorite, Asheebo's Athlete of the Week. We're going to talk, I don't know, we're going to talk about what games we may be at, or the games might not even happen. So you're going to get all that information today. Thank you for watching. If you're watching live, fantastic. We get over 1,000 folks watching every week. If you watch it later on, that is fine as well. I know some of you are working. The big difference today is we are live together. I'm sorry I had to put Asheebo through this. We're at 79 West across from Northwood on 15501. Asheebo's got something coming up locally here today, so that's why we're doing that here this morning, or actually this afternoon. So you want to start off with all the cancellations that just played havoc with all the high school sports here.
Yeah, as you guys see, I'm still trying to figure it out as we go because it's a lot of things going on. Getting canceled right now, updates from the North Carolina High School Athletic Association for other sports as well. But just as far as start with basketball, I know that's been a big thing with cancellations in this past week. So I know Northwood versus Raleigh Charter, that was scheduled, I think, for today, has been moved to Wednesday of next week. Jordan Matthews versus ER also scheduled for today. That got moved to February 9th. And then we had Woods Charter versus Chatham Charter, the second matchup between the two teams in less than a week. That was supposed to be scheduled for, I think, Tuesday. That's been now moved to next Wednesday as well. And then Seaforth versus Northwood, which is scheduled for next week. That has been canceled. Not sure if it's going to be rescheduled at the moment. And then some other games that are still on the schedule for today and tomorrow, but not yet sure about. I know some ADs are still playing kind of the waiting game to see what they can do or what the opponent schools can do as far as travel. But we have Northwood versus Eastern Randolph tomorrow. We also have Jordan Matthews hosting Northmore tomorrow for which would be their senior night. And then Chatham Charter, they're playing Central Carolina Academy tomorrow. Woods Charter supposed to be playing Raleigh Charter today. And Seaforth is, as of right now, still on for Durham School of the Arts tomorrow as well. So, like I said, not sure about those games that are still on the schedule and haven't been moved yet. I'm sure we'll have more updates on those coming from the schools on Facebook and the X as well when they share those updates and those are made available.
Yeah, and I know the school systems, my daughter teaches for Chatham County Schools. They didn't decide on teacher work day until late yesterday, so we'll probably won't hear until later on. But again, you got there, follow Asheebo Rojas at Asheebo R38, so he'll keep you up to date as to what's going on with that. One of the things that's going to affect, too, is wrestling, but there's a lot going on with wrestling. Yes. Good stuff here in Northwood. We got JM and we got Seaforth. So what's the latest on wrestling?
Yeah, on wrestling. So I think they're actually going to be bracketing the wrestling tournaments today and releasing the brackets tomorrow. So out in the paper today, and we'll talk more about this, we do have kind of some projections for our local teams in the wrestling playoff field. But as far as the rescheduling of things with dual team, of course, dual team was supposed to get started, I think, Saturday, but they have moved it to February 3rd, Tuesday, for the first and second round. So once we find out the brackets, we'll see where our local teams are headed to for that first round. Hopefully they can still get those duels in because I know the second winter storm is coming in. We don't know how long those effects are going to last because we're still feeling the ones from last week. So hopefully not too many things get messed up next week, but also too with swimming. If you guys haven't heard already, the regionals have been canceled for that. North Carolina High School Association actually just sent the qualifications for the state championships, which I think are now going to be from February 5th to 7th for swimming. So reading it right here, state championship qualification criteria. The top 12 individual swimmers from the East region and top 12 from the West as well will get in. Top 8 relay teams from the East, top 8 from the West. And then the next fastest regional entry times, regardless of region, will qualify until the field reaches a maximum of 32 individual swimmers and 24 relay teams. And then an additional heat will also be added only if there are more than 32 automatic qualifying times from the regional meet entries or in the event of ties for 32nd place. So just a quick rundown of what North Carolina High School Athletic Association has come up with the new qualification criteria with the regionals being canceled. So we'll take a look at how that affects our local swimmers from their conference tournament championships. I mean, not conference tournament, conference championship meets last week as well. So yeah, those are just the scheduling updates, the best as we know them as of now.
Yeah, you mentioned the snowstorm we got coming in this week. North Carolina Weather Authority, which is run by a senior over at NC State, he said he's going to hold off on his forecast until later on this afternoon, because it's funny because yesterday he posted the scenarios as to what could happen, and it went anywhere from 0 inches to 29 inches. I don't think neither extreme is going to happen. National Weather Report came out this morning saying that we here in Chatham County are going to get probably about 8 to 10 inches. So we'll see what happens, and that could affect the whole schedule. But again, you got follow Asheebo Rojas on Asheebo R38 on X, and you'll have that information. We'll also be posting information here on the Chatham Journal Facebook page as well. And if you have any questions, put them down in the comment section, because I am monitoring it on my phone. So that finishes up wrestling. Basketball. Again, that's been messed up because of the schedule, but what's going on with basketball?
Yeah, so we haven't seen any basketball this week pretty much at all. So what I have done, and what we have in the paper as well, is start looking at some of our playoff projections, where our local teams will land in the state tournament. We only have about 2 or 3 weeks left in the season, and then we'll do our conference tournaments as well. But yeah, like I said last week, it's time to start looking to see what the playoffs look like. So in the paper, we have projections as of Sunday, but I did go back and do some mapping out of all the classifications with our local schools. Also made my own maps, got some help from high school OT projections as well. And so, yeah, looking on the boys' side of things as of right now. So starting in 1A, where we have 3 schools, Chatham Charter, as of today, looks like they're going to be a 1 seed in the West here, 1 or 2 seed. But what it's looked like the past week as of now, Woods Charter, 2 seed in the West, Chatham Central, 5 seed in the West. So all 3 of our 1A schools are looking at getting a bye in that first round on the 1A West side of things. And then Northwood, it's going to be tough for them on the East side, right? With Farmville Central, Martin County, a lot of other great schools, great programs that are having great seasons this year on the East. So as well as Northwood has done so far this season, they're looking at around a 7 seed for them, which also still earns them a bye. Top 8 teams in each bracket do get a bye there, but they're not going to be probably not looking at getting that 1 or 2 or in that top 5 there. So we'll see how that works out for the Chargers. But Jordan Matthews in 4A, they're looking at around 12 seed on the East side there, playing a team maybe like Nash Central as of today, just what's projected. And then Seaforth in 5A, around the same area, 13 seed in the East for Seaforth as well. And they also have them.
So Seaforth and JAM will probably not land up getting a bye, but they're going to probably end up with their first game at home.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Pretty likely for them to get that first game at home. So, yeah, I mean, and I think for teams like JAM, like Seaforth, teams on the playoff caliber, but also could use that extra home court advantage to get that first or second playoff win. That would be huge for them. But then, of course, like we said, the 3 teams in 1A getting a bye, that's going to be huge. And I know we did a story a couple weeks ago just talking about that. It's a little bit of a race in 1A with our 3 schools. We know Southern Lake Academy in the Central Tar Heel Conference. They're, a really good program as well. And we'll get to see Woods and Chatham Charter play them at some point, hopefully this season before the season ends, because they're all in the same conference. But as far as, getting in the playoffs and making a run, it'll be interesting to see which one of those three teams can go the furthest.
Well, it's good to see that we're having that many teams with the potential to make it to the state playoffs.
Oh, yeah. And then on the girls side of things, same thing in 1A. We have 3 schools looking at a pretty good standing to make it into the state tournament. So on the east side of things, we have Woods Charter, just based on where the splits now. Woods Charter will be on the east. They'll get around the 12th seed as of today and playing a team like Jones Senior. Chatham Charter on the west, getting that 13th seed there, looking at maybe Bonnie Cone Leadership as a first-round matchup. And Chatham Central, 14th seed on the west, right under Chatham Charter. And they're looking at going to play North Carolina School of Science and Math in Morganton. So lower seeds for our girls teams in the 1A side there. But like you said, very likely that they'll be able to host those games. And we'll see if they can make some runs too. We know Chatham Central, they played some really good competition this year in their conference. So we'll know they'll be battle tested going into the playoffs regardless of where they land. Chatham Charter, that's a team, and I just saw play Woods on last week on Friday, and talking to Coach Jeff Patterson, he knows his girls, they were battle tested early on, but now they're kind of catching their stride in conference play, getting some more confidence, and we'll see how that translates into the playoffs as well, because they went and played some higher classification teams, saw in the Christmas tournament, they played JM, played, I think, against Ashboro as well. So they've been tested as well. And Woods Charter, we know they have a pretty good team, really good scoring. Wesley Oliver, she got some really talented teammates as well. So we'll see if they can pick up some more wins in conference play and get some momentum going into there. But looking at 3A with Northwood's having a really good season as well. And it's looking like they're earning themselves a pretty high seed there on the east side. So as of right now, we're looking at a 4 seed for Northwood. They're going to get a bye if that keeps up to the end of the season. And then in 5A, we have Seaforth looking at around a 6 seed in the east as well, looking at getting the bye there. So I think Jordan Matthews girls, I think it's the only team that's sitting outside the playoff picture. They're not too far, though. I think they're the 50th team in the RPI for the 4A girls. So we'll see if they can make up some ground with the 2 or 3 weeks left in the season.
Yeah, one of the interesting things you've noted is that we've had Chatham County schools who've been playing up early on in the season, a little bit mid-season, and I think what we hear from the coaches and what you and I have seen, that teams that do that get in a better position to be successful later on in the season as well as in the playoffs.
Yeah. Like I said, especially with Chatham, looking at Chatham Charter's girls, and we've had them low in the power rankings early on, just because they weren't picking up wins. There were some tough losses there, but it was really just because of who they were playing.
Yep.
And like I said, we saw them go against Woods, which that game actually kind of surprised me, and you can read more about it in the paper as well. We have a story from that. But they came out and jumped on Woods. I think it was 15-0 the first quarter. They were just really clicking, getting the shots they wanted, and, of course, playing really good defense out of their zone. And so, like I said, talking to Jeff Patterson, he was like, those girls really learned a lot from early on in the season, playing higher classification teams, just seeing that the higher level of competition. And we know it's kind of been the case the past couple of years with the girls team, right? They might get beat up a little bit in the beginning, but then they get in the conference play and then do the beating on other teams. So,
well, I think most of the coaches here in Chatham County feel that way. I don't think anyone you and I have talked to kind of say, we're going to shy away from that, because they all kind of, like you said, feel that by doing that, it puts them in a better position this time of year.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And I mean, you can even say we saw it with the Northwood boys a little bit too, right? Some of those games they played that they either won against a good competition, or like the Cardinal Gibbons game, that one was a tough one for them, but I'm sure they probably learned a lot from that one. I've even said, I think if they get to see Cardinal Gibbons again, even though, it's not going to be a playoff matchup or anything, could be a different game. But yeah, it's definitely beneficial. We've seen from our teams to go out and play other competition.
Coach Brown over in Northwood who has looked at the films, and just like Coach Berry, they all want to do better the next time they play. So it's an exciting time of season. Unfortunately, a lot of it's blown our way this week by the ice storm that's been around Anyway, my driveway still has ice on it. All right. Let's see. Are we ready to go into power rankings?
Yeah, so we do have power rankings from last week's games, of course, in our winter sports roundup in the paper. So we can go over that, even though we didn't get anything to shake up the power rankings this week. But we did have some that shook up some things last week. So starting with the boys side of things, of course, the week before we had Chatham Charter at 6, Chatham Central at 5, Jordan Matthews at 4, Woods Charter at 3, Seaforth at 2, and Northwood at 1. But like I said, last week we had Woods Charter and Chatham Charter play each other. Chatham Charter won that game, so that shook some things up. And so what we have as of the week of January 19th, we have Woods Charter at 6, Chatham Charter at 5, Jordan Matthews at 4, Chatham Central at 3, Seaforth at 2, and Northwood at 1. And like we said, I think Northwood at 1 is.
I'm not going to disagree with you. Yeah. I agreed with you last week. I agree with you this week. I mean, we've seen enough games where yes.
Yeah.
And look, if you're a team that's watching this and don't agree with the power rankings, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Asheebo didn't say that. I did. Look, you can always do better, but hey, folks, we appreciate all the players here in Chatham County. So that's Asheebo's power rankings for the week.
Yeah, but yeah, just talking about it more. I mean, I would hopefully we get to see the Northwood Seaforth game the second time. Just interesting to see how much better Seaforth has gotten from.
Oh, Coach Barry's got to have get ready for this game. Now, you mentioned earlier that game has been canceled, but we don't know if it's been postponed. Is that right?
Yes. Latest update I got, this was from the Seaforth side of things, that they're not sure if that is going to be rescheduled just because it is a non-conference game. And now we're getting to the point where teams are trying to finish out conference play so they can finish out, how conference standings are going to come out and playoff standings and things like that. But we'll see if it does. I would hope so because, like I said, Seaforth, that first one, of course, Northwood got the best of them, like we've seen over the past few years. But, I mean, Seaforth's having a really good season. They picked up some pretty good wins along the way. And I think I want to say they're either first or second in their conference. I think their only loss was to South Granville.
Yeah, I think they're in second right now.
Yeah. So only lost to South Granville, I want to say, in conference play. So they've been playing some really good basketball. Just interested to see if they are if they would, compete better in that game. Sure, they made some improvements. I know Declan Lindquist, and we'll talk more about him. He's been having a great season, made a big jump. I think it was 8 points per game last year, 17 points per game now. But on the Northwood side, of course, I mean, you got Cam averaging 20 a game once again. I think since the turn of 2026, he's only had one game under 20 points. So Northwood's just a really hard team to stop right now, especially when we talk about here within Chatham County. But Chatham Central, the rest, Chatham Central, Jordan Matthews, Chatham Charter, Woods Charter is interesting, right? Because we've seen all these teams play each other with Chatham Central and Jordan Matthews. They split their series. Chatham Charter and Woods Charter, of course, played last week, and Chatham Charter won that one. So, and that was a close game. That one was a really close game. I think there were, if Woods, had a couple shots go in or maybe a better start, that one could have went there.
If you were coaching that team, what would you have done different?
What, Woods in that game? If I remember, I think rebounding was the biggest thing, and you could hear Coach Leonard McNair, getting into his team about that. But I mean, as far as like scheme, that it was a close game. Right. There's really not much you can do different in that game. It was really just, I think, a matter of rebounds. Isaiah McSwain from Chatham Charter had a big offensive rebound. He had a few in that game. And then he had a big one at the end there and with a putback to put them up for like 4, I think, with like 3 minutes left. And I mean, both teams competed. They played really good defense. It was a low scoring game, like we usually see between these two teams. So, like I said, I think that was the main difference. And if we do get to see it again this year, hopefully we do, because it is a conference game. It could go either way again. So we'll see.
Right, and I didn't ask that question of Asheebo to put him on the spot. I asked him that question because probably of anybody here in Chatham County, he has seen more Chatham County high school basketball than anybody. So that's why I asked him that question. The other thing, too, Seaforth, Northwood, I just want to let folks know they're not shying away from not playing each other. both the AD at C4, Jared, and the AD at Northwood, Cameron, have both said they want to continue that game, even though they're in separate conferences. They want to have that because look, they're like 6 miles apart on the road. It's just, as you said, with the conference games that they need to get in, it may just not work out. I would love to see both teams play because I know Coach Berry's going to be ready, and I know Coach Brown is going to be ready. So that would be one heck of a game. Plus, this one's over at Seaforth, isn't it?
Yes, this one will be over at Seaforth.
All right.
Yep.
You can't get any Charger dogs at Seaforth, but it will be played over at Seaforth. So, yes, Coach Berry would come on strong for that. So those are the power rankings. We'll see if they change by next Thursday. What's going on with the girls' power rankings?
Yeah, so girls' power rankings, just a reminder of last week, it was Chatham Charter at 6, Jordan Matthews at 5, Chatham Central at 4, Woods at 3, Northwood at 2, and Seaforth at 1. This week, a little bit of shaking up, right, with Chatham Charter and Woods Charter playing. So as of January 19th, we have Jordan Matthews at 6, Woods at 5, Chatham Charter at 4, Chatham Central at 3, Northwood at 2, and Seaforth remaining at 1. I think, looking at the 1 and 2, right? Like you said, those teams really close, really close. I think as far as talent and ability this season. Seaforth, when they first played Northwood, right, close game, especially in that second half. Same thing, right? Definitely want to. Hopefully, we can see it again and see if Northwood can split the series or if Seaforth will prevail. Because I think Seaforth is the number 1 team here in the county. Just with what they have that championship pedigree still. Even with Gabby White no longer on the team, but they have that with Katie Leonard, Annika Johansson, Mia Moore. Those girls that have all been for the rise for those long playoff runs. So. And they have a new coach as well. Looks like it's been working out for them in conference play. So, yeah, Seaforth is still, to me, tied for second in their conference. To me, they're still the best team in the county. Northwood is having a good season too. Like we said, they've really got something working with Shayla Glover down in the paint, Leah Roberts knocking down threes, and of course, Coach Carrie Stubbs' teams. They're going to play defense, right? So. They've been really good at keeping teams low scoring and winning those conference games. 4-0 in their conference as of last week, 11-5 on the season. So pretty good run for them so far this year. But like I said, same thing with the rest of the county with Chatham Central, Chatham Charter, Woods, Jordan Matthews. Well, I think really Chatham Central, Chatham Charter, and Woods Charter. Interesting to see if Chatham Charter can keep up what they kind of built in conference play so far. I think for them. 4-1 in the conference, second place, and they're 7-13 overall. So you see where they're really starting to pick up their stride here in the season. And then interesting to see if Woods Charter can bounce back from that loss as well. Then hopefully we get to see them play Chatham Charter again. But for those two teams, they're really chasing Clever Garden in their conference. Clever Garden still the number 1 team there in Central Tar Heel 1A and already beat Woods Charter this season as well. And it was a pretty close game too, I think. So it'd be interesting to see if Woods Charter can turn those 2 games, flip them, and which would be huge for them in the conference standings, but also for playoffs as well. And then, Chatham Central, and we already kind of said it earlier, right? Tough schedule, tough conference. Bishop McGinnis, South Stokes. I mean, they're playing to a lot of high competition, right? Well, not South Stokes, excuse me, North Stokes, but those teams I think are 2A, so they. For 1A for themselves, not too much of a worry, but will be great preparation for what they'll see in the playoffs. And Coach Adrian Albright, that team, they've also been on the ride for some runs, second and third round. We'll see if they can, get that experience and make a even deeper run in the 1A playoffs as well. But yeah, those are our power rankings.
All right, we're going to be wrapping this up soon because Asheebo's got something coming up. We start off a little bit slow. Oh, before we get into what's the paper, let me ask you this. Coach Little and Coach Tolbert, Asheebo did a all Chatham County football. You did first team, second team, and third team, as well as honorable mentions.
Oh, just first and second and honorable mention.
Okay, first and second honorable mention. That's gotten a lot of play here in the county. It's been a lot of good feedback from players, coaches, parents, and relatives. So my question to you is, and I don't know why it's just shifting to me. It should be shifting to you. Come on, buddy. Don't pay attention to me. I'm not the smart one here. Asheebo is. Oh, come on. All right, hold on. We'll get this back. Technical
I didn't know it could
difficulties.
shift like that.
No, it's supposed to. There we go. All right.
Are you going to do that with basketball?
Yes, I think I will. I'm not exactly sure how I'll do it because it is, of course, less players and probably will be a similar process of reaching out to coaches, getting their recommendations. Really, it's just a matter of determining how many kids we'll have on the teams. And then, like I did for football, right, the leftovers that we don't put on teams, we will have for honorable mention just because they were mentioned by their coaches as all county caliber. So we want to make sure all those kids that get recommendations from the coaches in the county do earn some honors there in the paper. So probably a similar process, but just like I said, just a matter of figuring out how many we're going to take for our teams. But it's definitely fun to do it. Coaches are really eager to highlight their kids that maybe not have gotten a lot of recognition during the season otherwise. And it is a good way to kind of summarize and highlight who were some of the top players in the county. And like I said, get them some more honors and recognition.
Well, I know the feedback that I've heard is people have enjoyed it, and they used to do that a long time ago at the Chatham News and Record, but Asheebo brought that back, so that's coming back. All right, let's get into what's in the paper today. What's in the Chatham News and Record today?
Yeah, so in the Chatham News and Record, like we said, we have our stories from Chatham Charter and Woods Charter girls and boys basketball in one story, so you can read about both games there. We also have our Winter Sports Roundup as usual, basketball, boys and girls standings and results. And then we also have some stuff from wrestling that we had last week. I think the last field duels of the season. And then we also have results from our swimming championship meet. Some of our local swimming conference champions are highlighted in this paper as well. So you can pick that up and see who earned some conference titles in the swimming conference meets last week. And then Chatham Central, they honored the 1986 girls basketball championship team last week. I think it was Wednesday. And so got a chance to speak with the team. Most of the members showed up. So it was a lot of the ladies came and reminisced the whole night. I think I had like a 30-minute recording because they were just going on. And we probably could have talked all night about all their memories with Coach Gerald Binkley, the trip to Hickory, the trip to Elon for the state championship. I mean, it was just a really cool time to see them come together and reminisce and have that reunion. So you can read more about the season, of course. You guys,
and you got a picture of the team in the paper.
Yes,
today, right? So look, ladies, I know you still buy the paper. It's worth picking up, cutting out that picture, put it on your refrigerator so your grandkids can see those because they're like that was 40 years ago for you.
Yeah, it was the 40-year
anniversary
of that team, right? And of course, you guys remember the year before they went 9-14. Then the year later, 28-3 and state champion. So pretty cool story and a turnaround of what they were able to accomplish that season. And it was part of of course, Chatham Central was doing a Legacy of Champions initiative this year. They did it with the state champions from wrestling a couple weeks ago as well. So brought back some of their wrestlers that you see on the walls when you walk into Binkley Gymnasium. And so hopefully maybe over the years we'll see more of those people come back and get honor as well. So it's always pretty cool to be able to be around those champions. And
Asheebo does a nice job covering that. And actually, it's interesting. We got middle school basketball tournaments coming up sometime in the future. Finally got Asheebo to go to the last one, and great coverage. And I think he had a good time looking at that. And I'm sure for some being in this county long enough, a lot of players and folks appreciate the coverage because for some kids, they're not going to play in high school, and that's probably one of their biggest games that they're going to have in middle school. So that's coming up in a few weeks, hopefully.
Oh yeah, it's also a preview of the future stars we'll see right in high school. Yeah. We got some of them from last year already playing, varsity with certain schools. So it's always cool to see them, make that leap from 8th grade, 7th grade, and going.
Jaron Stevenson played.
I've heard about Jaron as well. Yeah,
I remember his mom on the sidelines with the camera. I'm like, you got to do this setting to get the best picture of Jaron. But and he's doing it at UNC, and he had a great game there against Virginia. Yeah. 16 points, man. It was like
most of it, pretty much all of it in the second half.
Exactly.
He led that comeback, knocked out some threes, got some big defensive stops as well, and rebounds as well. Like, he did everything they needed him to do in that one. And
all right. And if you don't get to go out and see Jaron playing at UNC, you could be 2 degrees of separation from him by going to a Seaforth game and seeing his mom at the front collecting admission tickets. So the Stevenson family's involved here in what's going on in Chatham County. All right. Yeah, we need to wrap this up because you need to get out of here. Let's get into who is your athlete of the week.
Well, actually, we still got some time. I can
Okay.
right quick just to finish out what we had in the paper though. We do have some projections for playoffs with wrestling and basketball, two separate stories. Like I said, the basketball ones were as of Sunday when I did write these. Of course, they've changed over the past few days, but not too much. So you can still get an idea of where our local teams may land. It's still early. We still have like 2 or 3 weeks left in the season before it's all set in stone. But wrestling, like I said, we had some projections with the bracket's supposed to be done, I think today. They were supposed to be done today, but they will be done tomorrow, and we'll figure out where everyone lands. But you can read kind of where our projections are.
Well, let me ask you this: on your projections, you're not just looking at various other sources; you're basing it also on what you've seen out there as well.
Well, for basketball, yes. Now for wrestling, we really just looked at ranked wrestlers, where they're landing in the top 48.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, and seeing, I guess like where they could possibly land. I don't think I've really mapped out for wrestling, but
if you want a Chatham-centric view of what is coming up, you need to pick up the paper, basically.
Yep. And so, yeah, that's all we got in the paper this week as far as stories. Like I said, this is getting real scarce with basketball games and a lot of games being canceled this week. So we'll see what we can come up with for next week. But you ready to get into the
I am ready. Everyone's favorite, Asheebo's athlete of the week. Go for it.
Yeah, so athlete of the week this week, we're going to Seaforth basketball, and it's going to be Declan Lindquist from the boys basketball team, the senior there. We mentioned him already in the stream today. Like I said, we're going to talk about him later. And yeah, in the 77-64 win over Carborough last week, shot 7 for 10 from the three-point line, and he had 28 points in that game. So that's his career high in threes from what I saw in Max Preps. And this season, like we said, made a big jump. Last year, 8.9 points per game. Before that, never averaged over 10 points per game. Now he's a 17.4 per game scorer. So making a lot of big plays, big shots, doing a lot of things for Seaforth this season, and has played a huge part in the season they've been able to have. So, of course, he's signed to Haverford College. That's what he'll be continuing his basketball career. And, yeah, congratulations to Declan. Hopefully he'll be able to keep this up the rest of the season going into the playoffs. And then, of course, we'll see what he does in the next level.
Right. And the thing, too, is even though he's going to Haverford College, Asheebo does it, you do it at least once. I know you try to do it twice a year where you follow up and see where different Chatham County players have gone in their various colleges.
Yeah, I try to do it once or twice every season with fall, winter, and spring because, of course, we're going to have baseball and softball players get started with college in a few weeks as well coming up. So we'll update you guys on where old and new Chatham County collegiate athletes will be on the diamond. So, yeah, I think that's all we got this week.
All right. We have no idea where we're going to be because we don't know if anything's going to be happening tomorrow.
Yeah. Like I said, if it's still on, I would like to go see Jordan Matthews Northmore because that will be JM's senior night. But not sure that's still going to go. I think everything as far as tomorrow is still up in the air, and then a few things today still up in the air. But like I said, if you guys go back and watch the beginning of our stream, we did kind of go over what we know has been moved for sure. So we'll keep you updated. Of course, if you follow me on Facebook, I usually share a lot of the schools' own posts where they do make updates to their schedule, and try my best to keep.
And remind people there's 2 of you on Facebook to make sure to follow. Don't follow his dad.
Oh no, yeah, it's me. It's obvious it's me. I'm in front of a car, and yeah, that is my Facebook account. But like I said, you guys follow me there. Keep you guys updated with the schedules. Also, I'll be looking at the Chatham County Schools Facebook as well to see if they make any message about canceling after-school activities. So, yeah.
So Asheebo's on X, and he's also on Facebook for the older folks who can't figure out how to get on X. So that's it for today, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Again, follow Asheebo R38 on X, Facebook, and pick up a copy of the paper today. It's not going to hurt you because you may get snowed in this weekend. We may get 8 to 10 inches. We'll see. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next